Hello everyone. Today in this video lesson, we learn the subject operating system, which is prescribed syllabus for the third year computer science students. So in today's video lesson, we learn the system calls and types of system calls in an operating system. So operating system provides a set of services for our computing devices. The services like device management, memory management, security, and many other things. So to work with this, we require system calls. So let's see what are the system calls and what is the need of the system calls and what are the different types of system calls available in operating system. So before going into the depth, we'll just see that we have two modes of operations allowed in operating system: user mode, kernel mode. That means the program can be executed in kernel mode or user mode. Simply we can say here kernel mode is more privileged because it is having an access to the resources, whereas the user mode does not have. So we'll go into the depth. So what is the kernel mode do? We said kernel mode is more privileged than user mode. So what is the kernel mode do? Right, we'll get a doubt that what does the kernel mode do? So when CPU is in kernel mode, who is CPU? The processor is CPU. CPU is in kernel mode, the code being executed can access any memory address and any hardware resource. It can access any memory address and any hardware resource. That means it can access any place of the system. Hence, kernel mode is a very privileged and powerful mode because it is independent of other things. It has direct access with the memory and it has direct access with the resources, so it is more powerful. And if a program crashes in kernel mode, the entire system will be halted because the kernel mode is associated with all the resources available in the machine. So if there is a problem in the kernel mode, that means the program executing in the kernel mode, so entire program, that means entire system will be crashed because there is a problem with the kernel mode. The problem arises at the kernel mode, so there is a problem with entire system. So next, the other mode is user mode. When CPU is in user mode, the programs don't have direct access to memory and hardware resources. That is the difference. When a program executing in user mode, it does not have direct access to the resources of our system. In user mode, if any program crashes, only that particular program is halted. That means stopped. Only that particular program is stopped. That means the system will be in a safe state even if a program in user mode crashes. The system will be safe because one program is crashed. That means whether it is having any trouble. If in case it has any trouble also, it does not crash the system. Whereas in kernel mode, if anything gets troubled, the entire system will be in trouble because they are closely related with all the resources, whereas it is not closely related to all the resources. So if there is any problem with any of the program, it does not disturb any other system. It will halt only that program and our entire system will be in safe state. Hence, most programs in an operating system, OS is nothing but an operating system, run in user mode. Right? So, we get the word called system call. So, what is a system call? Today's our concept is system call. When a program in user mode requires access to RAM or a hardware resource, that means if my C program is running in the memory in this processor, suppose I want to add two numbers in my C program, so it requires an access of some information from RAM, or it may require an input from the keyboard, which is nothing but the hardware resource. But my program is residing in user mode. So when a program in user mode requires access to RAM, RAM is nothing but a memory or a hardware resource, it must ask the kernel to provide access to that resource. That means user mode does not have any privilege to access any of the resource. It does not have any right to get the resource directly. It has to ask the kernel mode. So this kind of asking is called system call. Through system call, we can ask the kernel mode to provide this service to me. Right? So this is done via something called a system call. So when a program makes a system call, that means when the program is in user mode and it is making a system call, means it is asking something from kernel mode. The mode is switched from user mode to kernel mode because my program is in user mode and it is making a system call. So what does the system call do? System call makes a request to the kernel mode to give some permission or give some access to any of the resources which is required for my execution. So this is called context switching. We'll be learning this context switching in depth in the coming syllabus. So context switching is switching from user mode to kernel mode for granting any permission or to access any resource. Right? So here we have learned that system call is nothing but asking a kernel mode to provide an access to any of the resource required for my execution. So these kind of requests are done in the form of system call. Right? So system calls are made by generally system calls are made by the user level programs. That means a simple programs which is written by me. For example, as I've told you, addition of two numbers in C program. In the following situations, these are done in the following situations. So what are those situations? Creating, opening, closing and deleting files in the file system. So this is nothing but file management system. Who is going to do this? This is the work of operating system. This is the functionality of operating system. So to do all these things, creating, opening, closing and deleting the files, we require the system call. This is all done only for the simple programs, user level programs. Right? Next, creating and managing new processes. For that also we require system calls. Next, creating a connection in the network. So with some system calls, we create a connection to the network and sending and receiving packets. That means a data can be sent in the network in the form of packets. The data can be communicated in the network in the form of packets. data communication in the form of packets. So this is also data can be sent and data can be received. After sending it, it will get an acknowledgement. This is all done through system calls, right? The other thing, finally, requesting access to a hardware device like a mouse or printer. So here comes again the question that the operating system has to manage. Operating system has to manage the devices connected to our system. So this is also, the device management is also performed using system calls. So with this, I think you got the basic idea of system calls. We'll move further. So simply, we can briefly say that programming interface to the services provided by the OS. So it is a programming interface to the services provided by the OS. So system call is nothing but an interface to the services provided by the OS. So whatever the services provided by the OS, for that it is acting as an interface, right? So these system calls are written in, typically it is written in high level language called C and C++. In C and C++, they are written. System calls are written in C and C++ languages. Mostly accessed by programs via high level application programming interface, API, that means where we work on, rather than direct system call use. So these system calls are worked by making use of APIs. Three most common APIs are Win32, Windows 32 API for Windows, POSIX API, application programming interface for POSIX based systems, including virtual versions of Unix, Linux, and Mac OS X. Okay, a virtual operating systems. For those things, we have POSIX API and Java API for Java virtual machines. Okay, we'll be learning Java as the other subject in this semester. For that also we use Java API. So system calls are done by are accessed through APIs. So examples of system call. So here the system call is an example of performing a simple operation. What is an operation? Let's see. It is an example of system calls. How the system calls will be. System call sequence to copy the contents of one file to another file. I have a contents in one file. I just want to copy the contents of one file into another file. So let's see. I have two files called source file and destination file. So all the contents of source file is copied into destination file. This is my task. So for that reason, what he is doing, let's see in between. So examples of system call sequence. What are the system calls done here? Acquire input file name. First, you have to open your input file name. So from which file you want to copy the data. So that is your first system call to be performed so that you can read the data from the file. Next, write prompt to screen to type the input file name. Prompting is nothing but showing onto the screen. Write prompt to screen. Accept the input. So what are the system calls you have done? You have searched the input file name, acquire the file name. That is first system call. Another one, write a prompt to the screen. Accept the input. Accept the input. Acquire. So this is the three things for finding a file from your source file. Right? So with these three things, acquiring input file name, write prompt to the screen for writing the input file name and accept the input. After typing, you have accepted the input. So these are the three system calls required to get the input file name. Next, what do? Acquire output file name to which you want to write the content. That is nothing but the destination file. Write prompt to screen to type the output file name and accept the input. So this thing, accept the input for printing your output file name. So 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3 for taking an input, 4, 5, 6 for writing the output. Next, open the input file to write, to read the content. If file does not exist, abort. You have a file name where it tells what is the content it has. Open the input file if the file does not exist. If there is no file exist there. So abort, because you don't have any content over there or your file is not available. Abort. Abort means cancel. Create an output file to write the file. You have given the name already, right? Here you have given the name already. So create an output file. If file exists, abort. Listen here. Here also it tells that if file exists, abort. Because if the file is already existing, you cannot write anything onto the file already existing file. So if file exists, abort. Loop this. What you have to loop? Read from input file, write to output file. Do this from one by one letter, next letter, third letter, fourth letter, until you find the end of the content. You loop it. So read from input file, write to output file until read fails. Because when do you get the read fails? If your file is finished. That means the content in your input file is finished. Close the output file. Write completion message to screen. That means the copying of content from one file to another file is finished. So write completion message is given to the screen. Terminate normally. So how many system calls are involved to copy a file from to copy a content from one file to another file? So first 3 things to open an input file, another 3 things to open an output file. Check whether the first file is existing, input file is existing or not. And second, if the destination file is already existing, you cannot do along with that with that file. So please abort. Otherwise, you read the content from the first file and copy it to the second file until your read fails. So loop it until your data is copied from your input file to output file. So after that, close the output file because the copying is done. Write completion message is finished, given to the screen. That means the write operation from input file to output file is done. So write completion message is given to screen. Terminate normally. So this is the way how our system calls will work to write from one file to another file, to write the content from one file to another file. So let's see a standard C library example. So this is this picture you can see. This picture indicates your normal C program. What do you write? Hash include stdio.h, a preprocessor directive where you are writing your header file, hash include, standard input output header file. In that you are writing a main function. In main function, you are writing a standard output function called printf. So your execution starts from main and it goes into, and whenever you get the printf, it calls standard C library because you have to get the definition from your standard input output header file. So here, wherever it comes the control from user mode to kernel mode, this is executing at the user mode. So your execution is moved to kernel mode. At this kernel mode, it is giving a system call. So what is the system call? Write is a system call. So it is doing a write system call and it is giving back to the standard C library, and this is the required information is passed back to your printer, and your greetings is printed onto your screen and written 0 and close. So C program invoking printf library call. This is a library call which calls write system call. Right? So printf is calling a system call. Printf is in user mode. So when it goes to the kernel mode, it calls write system call. So this is the best example of your system call. Next, system call parameter passing. When you pass the system call, you will be passing the parameters also. So there are 3 general methods used to pass parameters to the operating system. So the system call is done to the operating system. Right? System call is performed with the operating system. So with that, for that, we use our registers. So registers are nothing but the storages. So the processor register can be used to store the parameters. So if you want to, if you are passing any parameters with the system call, so the processor register will be using to store the parameters which are passed. Then system calls will receive those parameters by reading register values. So the system calls will get the parameters by reading those register values. So the registers are used for passing the parameters through system call. Next, block of memory. So if the number of parameters are more than processor registers, if the parameters passed are more than process registers, then they are stored in block of memory, and address of that block is stored in process registers. Normally, the parameters are all stored at registers. If it is more than processor registers, they are stored in block of memory. So the address of that block of memory is stored in process registers. This is another way of parameter passing in system calls. Finally, the stack. It uses the stack. So parameters can also be pushed on their stack, and system calls can receive them by pushing them from by pushing them from stack. So from the pushing stack, they get the information. So next concept in our video lesson is the types of system calls. So the types of system calls, there are 5 types of system calls available. We had an idea of system call, how it will work, and we have seen the example with standard C library. So there are 5 types of system calls available: process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. So these are the different types of system calls. So process control system calls. So what is the process? Process is nothing but the program which is under execution. So what is the service provided by operating system? Operating system has the responsibility of loading your process and making them execute in your system. So for that reason, we need a system calls. There are hundreds of system calls required to execute a single program. So what kind of system calls are required? The process control system call has to do create the process, terminate the process, wait for the event, wait for what is the meaning of event? Mouse click. Some events like on mouse click, on mouse over, on key press. So the events will be whenever the events will be generated, the process will be executed. So this is also the responsibility of operating system. That means the process will be controlled by making use of system call. So wait for an event, wait for the time, at what time it has to do, and wait for the signal. This is all done in the process control system calls. With the process control system calls, load the process, execute the process, allocate the memory, free the memory. Whenever it is not required, the memory will be freed up. Get the attributes and set the attributes. Attributes are nothing but the properties for the process. So getting an attributes is required and setting the attributes is also required. This is also done using system calls. Abort and end. Abort is an abrupt end of any process. End is a perfect termination. Abort and end. So next, file management system call. So file management is also another service provided by operating system. So there are different system calls which supports this file management system. So this system call usually takes the name of the file as parameter because we are working on the file. So it takes file as the parameter. The delete system removes the file from memory. So it will create and delete the file from the memory. So what are the system calls used here? Open the file, close the file, read the file, write the file, open and close. For this, I can tell you an example of fopen, fclose. Fopen for file open, fclose for file close. So like that, we use the system calls for performing and file management operations. So here we can have file, open file, close file, read file, write file, get file attributes and set file attributes. Attributes are nothing but the properties related to your file. So you can get the file attributes or you can set the file attributes. Okay, this is also done using system calls. So system information management system calls. So this is regarding your system information. So get system information and set information, systems information. So what type of system is yours? What is the operating system you are going to use? And what are the things related to your system? This is all set using this system call. So get the current date and time and set the current date and time. Get device attributes and set device attributes. Get process attributes and set process attributes. Process attributes are nothing but process ID, right? Process ID, you can create the process ID, you can access the process ID. With that, you can see which process is under execution. Right? So next, device management system call. So this is also the responsibility of an operating system, device management. So it will perform request device from operating system and release the device. Like an IO device. Devices are nothing but IO device. It can request for a printer and it has to release the printer after it uses. So request device from an operating system and release the device. Because some devices are connected to some programs. Read from device, write to the device. That means the keyboard and the monitors must be connected and they must be worked properly by making use of system calls. Get and set device attributes. Device attributes. Simply, I can say an example. If you have more than one printer, printers can be named printer 1 and printer 2. So the number indicates the attributes of the printer. So you can get and set device attributes, the devices which are connected to your system. Attach device logically and detach device logically. This is also you can done using system call. You can connect your devices or you can detach your devices. So this is also done with your system call. Last and the final, communication system call. These system calls enables process to exchange information. Using these system calls, you can exchange the information from one process to another process. So this is done in two ways. One is message passing, another one is shared memory. Message passing is sending the information as packets through network. Whereas the shared memory, one memory can be accessed by many other resources. So that is called shared memory. So what are the activities involved with this system calls? Create communication connection and delete communication connection. How you will connect the communication? Through telephone lines or any buses. So through network you will connect a communication, or you can delete a communication connection. Shared memory create and shared memory detach. This is also you can done by making use of communication system calls. So system calls related to your communication. Send the status information. Where is your information? That means the message is passed. So the acknowledgements related to your communicated message. So these are all the system calls, different types of system calls. Remember students, for your degree examination, this is an important question. Types of system calls. System calls are 5. Process control, file management, communication, information maintenance, and device management. So process control, which controls the execution, opening, closing, which controls the you can see here, which controls the process creation and termination, and loading the process and executing the process. Next is the file management. It controls the file operations. And next is the system information. It tells about your system's information, current time and current date, and devices attributes. And device management, it tells what are the devices attached to your system and what are the devices detached from your system. And communication, it controls, it manages the information shared among different processes. Right? So types of system calls which are in 2 different operating systems, Windows and Linux. So for the types of system calls, for the process control, there are different Windows so for the different system calls, first system call is process control. For that process control, for the Windows, we have a system call called create process, exit process, wait for single object, waiting for an object to be executed. Okay, these are the system calls available in Windows operating system. Whereas coming to the Linux operating system, fork, exit, wait. Fork is to create the child processes, exit, create the process. Same thing. Instead of create process, we use fork here. Fork is to create the child processes, exit for exiting from the current process, and wait is to wait for the other process to be executed. Right? Next is the file management. In file management, you have different system calls. These are the different system calls. Create the file, read the file, write the file, close handle. That means the opened file must be closed. So create the file, read the file, write the file, close the file. So these are worked in the Linux operating system. Open for creating a file, read for reading a file, write for writing a file, close for closing a file. Right? Next operating system, next system called device management. In device management, set console mode. For making it as a console mode. So for making it as console mode, we use device management. Device means console is nothing but the monitor. So to make your monitor available, you have to make a system call called set console mode. Read console, read the information from your console, write onto the console. So these are the 3 system calls used in your Windows environment, whereas IOCTL for Linux environment, read and write for your Linux environment. The other forms which are given in Windows, the other forms which are written in Linux. Next is the information maintenance, where get current process ID, which process is executing, set the timer, till what time the process can be executed, sleep. What is the need of sleep? Sleep will make your process slow down. That means wait for something else to be complete its execution. So sleep makes your process stop for some time without any execution. So the get current process ID of Windows will be done as get PID. PID is nothing but the process ID for Linux environment. Set timer, we use a system call called LRM in Linux environment. Sleep is written as sleep. So these are the different system calls used in different types. Finally, the communication. Create the pipe, map view of file, create file mapping, creating a file from moving a file from one place to another file. So the communication, creating a pipe. Pipe is nothing but getting all the messages one after the other. So creating a pipe, that means a pipe kind of information, pipe kind of place is generated so that all your informations are getting into your pipe, so that it will be coming into your system one by one. So this is the other form of creating a pipe. In Linux environment, it is pipe. Create file mapping, mapping your file for communicating, map view of file. So this is done, map view of file. These are the system calls available in our operating system. So let's see some examples of system calls. Wait. So wait is used to wait until other process completes its execution. So with wait, we will give a parameter with the sum given with the time. So in some systems, a process may wait for another process to complete its execution. So as we have discussed earlier in the earlier video lessons, at a time more than one process can go for execution. So in some systems, a process may wait for another process to complete its execution. So the suspending of the parent process occurs with a wait system call. Wait system call. So the suspension is not an end. Suspending is a temporary block of your execution. So the suspending of parent process occurs with a wait system call. So it will wait for some time without executing. When the child process completes its execution, the control is returned back to the parent process. So the parent process execution will be waited until the child process completes its execution. So wait is a system call. It waits until its child process completes its execution. So the suspending of the parent process occurs with a wait system call. When the child process completes its execution, then only the parent process resumes its execution. So wait is a system call used to stop the parent process's execution and make the child execute for some time. After the child's execution, the parent process resumes back for the execution. So this is one type of system call. I have taken only some system calls for your understanding. Next is a fork. Create process. Fork is used in Linux environment, whereas it is nothing but create process in Windows environment. That means it creates a child process. So processes use the fork system call to create processes that are a copy of themselves. So it creates a new process from the already existing process. So fork is a system call used to create a new process from already existing process. So when a parent process creates a child process and the execution of the parent process is suspended. Suspended means timely waiting until the child process executes. When the child process completes its execution, the control is returned back to the parent process. That means the parent process resumes back for that execution. So the suspended process will get back to the execution. Next is an exit system call. It is very easier one. The exit system call is used by a program to terminate its execution. Whenever you use a system call, it just terminates its execution. In a multi-threaded environment, operating system supports threading concept. Multi-threading means more than one thread can execute at a time. A smallest process is called a thread. So in a multi-threaded environment, this means that the thread execution is complete. When you write an exit system call in multi-threaded environment, it means the thread execution is complete. So this is the work of exit system call used in Linux environment. Next is the kill process, kill system call. The kill system call is used by the operating system to send a termination signal to a process that adjusts the process to execute. It sends the termination signal to a process that adjusts the process to execute. To exit. It tells the process that you have to exit. Right? So, with this, I'll end up with my video lesson for the concept of system calls and types of system calls. Hope you have understood the idea of system calls and types of system calls. Thank you for watching.